Mario, Ruby, let's go. Let's go.
Come on, let's have a candid conversation. Let's talk about it. Just bring it up, we got hope and love.
Yeah.
It's all about you and your well-being. The candid conversation show. Let's go, let's talk about
Hey,
it.
let's talk, let's walk it out. Let's talk, walk it out.
It's all about you.
Let's walk it out. Let's talk.
Hello, and welcome to Talk About It, the Candid Conversation Show with Muriel and Ruby, where we discuss topics that are unspoken and taboo in our community. We are so grateful to have a candid conversation with Shannan Lewis. She's an author, a speaker, and a cancer survivor.
Welcome to the show, Shannan.
Thank you so much.
We're so happy to have you.
Yes.
And I'm delighted as well.
Yes. We like to lead at the beginning of the show with having the guests share a little bit about their childhood with us because we feel that your childhood is the foundation to who we become as adults. Because strong people begin as broken children. Can you share a little bit of your childhood with us?
Wow, what a wonderful segue. Wow, you are so correct. Because my childhood began in Jamaica. I was born in
Island girl.
Yes. I was born in Portland, Jamaica.
Okay.
My parents were pastors,
Oh.
pastors, and we served in ministry until he was stricken with cancer and died at the
Sorry to
age
hear
of
that.
42. Yeah,
42.
but
Very young.
yes. But to your question about strong people,
Yes.
becoming strong as a result of the childhood journey, the brokenness, the
Right.
hurt. I reference that in my book
Okay.
because my childhood, even though I was in a solid Christian home, the enemy found a way to get
Get in.
through.
Busy.
And the attempt was to destroy my life in childhood,
Really?
you know? And so to speak to what you just said a while ago, Ruby, I was molested as a 5-year-old.
Oh, no.
And that wasn't even the issue. I was blamed for it and beaten for it.
What?
And so I'm getting ahead of myself. But because of the way you just said that a
Right.
while ago, I look back and I recognize that that was a pivotal part of my childhood. Because on one hand, I was pastor's perfect daughter.
Of course.
I was the performer.
Yes.
I was the people pleaser. I was on
And you were
radio and
hurting.
television. And as I grew as a child into a teenager, I was shining on the inside, but
hurting on the
screaming inside. I
Right.
was shining on the outside, but silently screaming
On the
and struggling on the
inside.
inside.
Oh my gosh.
And now the older version of myself looks back and says, yes, that was integral to my growth and development
Of
and
who
the
you are.
strength.
Isn't that something?
You know, and so
My
I
goodness.
have no regrets because my childhood laid a solid
Foundation for you.
Solid foundation.
But
No,
you so sorry. You know what? Who beat you though? It wasn't your parents, was it?
No, not
Okay.
at all. Not at all. I was at Vacation Bible School.
Oh, okay.
And some girls, older girls, took me behind the church and said that they heard about what happened, and if my parents ever found out, you know, because my parents were public
Of
figures,
course.
they would kill me. And so the little girl in me heard that message, and the feeling of stigma and shame
Right.
was planted. But when they proceeded to bully me and berate me and beat me, I was traumatized as a
Yeah.
child,
Gosh.
and I was muted. Because that act, it wasn't so much the molestation, it was the act of laying the blame at the
On you.
feet
On
of
you.
an innocent child
Right.
that was confused and had no idea what had happened. So I didn't tell my parents.
You didn't say
I said
anything?
nothing
No.
for
Till what
years
age?
until I was a teenager.
Okay.
And so I carried that shame, that
That
heaviness,
hurt.
that guilt, the confusion, the
course.
anger all of my childhood.
Oh my
And all the
gosh.
while I was making great
Of
grades 'cause
course.
I was,
You look good.
because I had to overcompensate and I had to overperform because
Right.
someone told me a lie and planted a seed
Isn't
that
that
the
something?
enemy tried to use.
Mm.
But I'm telling you, God got the victory.
Oh my goodness.
Because the growth and the strength that
Right.
came as a result of that, what should have broken me
Yes.
and crippled me,
Made you stronger.
Absolutely.
made me stronger
Mm.
and positioned me for many other
Obstacles that you face.
in life. Exactly, exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
So I like the way you said what you just said.
Thank
Because it
you.
makes sense. Because what it is a lot of times we ask that question. That's how we start our shows every single time, because we know that a lot of things happen in your childhood
Childhood.
to make you somewhat of who you are today.
Absolutely.
So that is
Yes.
very important why we ask, and we just want the viewers to know.
Why
and,
did
and true, I had a great childhood, but that was the shifting moment.
Mm.
Yes.
At 5 years old.
Yes. Yes.
My goodness.
Wow. You ever sought any type of help, counseling?
Oh yes, I
Okay.
have. I'm one of those people who believe that I need Jesus and therapy.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And so
good.
I've done years in
Good.
the therapeutic process.
Good.
And I'm not talking about just going to church and having your pastor.
Right.
I'm talking about investing in professional counseling.
One-on-one.
good.
Oh yes.
Because
Oh,
some
yes.
feel that
There's such value in that.
Yes.
Right.
Some people feel that just the pastor praying for them alone
No.
or the church members is
No.
enough.
Yeah. There are things that we go through in life that requires deep work.
Correct.
Getting beneath the surface.
An actual professional.
Peeling the layers.
Yes.
And I have had no problem doing that.
Good. And that's what these
for you.
people are. That's what the
Yes.
professionals are here for.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
to do that.
Definitely.
But as you say, all of that you went through, what was supposed to break you, made you stronger.
So much stronger.
It helped you with, you had a scare
Oh
back
yes.
in 2017.
Yep.
What happened in 2017?
You know, so I was living my life.
Yes.
You know, not bothering anybody.
No.
Minding your own business. Yes.
And really just maneuvering through various life events. And one day I woke up feeling weird. You know, granted, I had bronchitis a few weeks before.
Okay.
When 2016 was ending, I developed bronchitis. But when 2017 came around, it just wouldn't.
It
I
wouldn't
couldn't
go away.
Wouldn't go away. Couldn't get rid of the cough. And so, long story short, because we don't have all day, I ended up in
It's
the
okay.
emergency room
Okay.
and was diagnosed with leukemia, lymphoma.
Leukemia.
Leukemia. It's a blood
Not
cancer.
just a cough, not just a cold.
No. My white blood cells were through the roof, as my doctor said.
Oh, wow.
And that is what indicated that I had this blood cancer.
So the symptoms were the cough. That's what took you there.
That and fatigue.
yes,
Prior to that, the year before, I realized I was extremely fatigued,
Okay.
especially during the latter part of 2016. So I was on a lot of stress. But
Yes.
I was tired all the time. But I just chalked it up to, you being, the woman in the world. You're doing
Wonder
your thing.
Woman, Superwoman.
Career. You know how it is.
Right, I do.
Career woman,
That's right.
mom, and all of that. And so I really didn't give it any extra thought
Okay.
that the fatigue was my body telling me something, Furthermore, I had done all of my medical checkups and everything was fine.
Okay.
So I had no reason to think that something was brewing.
Lab work,
Exactly.
everything was done.
But the lab work indicated
The white blood
that,
cells.
yes, the cells
Absolutely.
were
But it
high.
just happened, it seemed like, because you had your yearly exam.
it was triggered. It
Yes.
was triggered. It was triggered.
And at that moment, what did you feel when the doctor told you that?
You said, what's that?
Listen, I was like, what? Hold up.
Uh-huh.
But the truth is, and I wrote about it in the book, I was not completely shocked.
Okay.
I was surprised to hear that it was cancer,
Okay.
but I was not shocked. And
Why
I'll tell
weren't
you
you shocked?
why. The year before, I had a sense that my life was about to change. So when I was diagnosed, I was a university professor
Okay.
and admissions counselor.
Wow.
But somehow I felt like destiny was wooing me. I remember saying that to my friends. I said, I feel like something is going to happen where I'm going to have to leave the university.
Oh, wow.
And it will not be because I'm going to get fired or resign. I feel something pulling me. I feel destiny wooing me like
Oh,
a
wow.
lover, is the
Okay.
way I said it. So that was one clue.
Okay.
The other thing was I felt like I was getting to a point in my life where my purpose and destiny were about to collide.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
all the pieces of the puzzle were coming,
coming together.
Right. And so when I was diagnosed, I remembered that.
Okay.
And in the moment, while it was like, it was surreal, In the hours and days that followed, I had to have some serious daddy-daughter conversations with the Lord.
Yes.
Okay.
Because he took my dad, my dad died
When
from
you were young.
cancer when I was 17, and then here I was being diagnosed. And I went into the lap of the Lord,
That's
and
right.
I had a fit. I had a
right.
hitsy
That's
fit.
right. Daddy,
I had a
what's going on?
10%. How could you even, what are you?
Right.
And when I tell you, ladies, he calmed me down in my spirit with these words, Shannan, I can trust you with this
Okay.
because you will share.
Yes, you will.
And as a result of you sharing, people will learn,
Okay.
people will gain new perspectives
Yes.
about the cancer journey,
Right.
and
It'll calm
I will
them.
get glory out of this.
And he sure has,
And I
hasn't he?
remembered about the pieces of the puzzle coming together, about purpose and destiny wooing me, and I realized I need to submit to this process.
And you
And
became
even
calm.
if it meant I was going to die
Right.
as a result,
Right.
You were okay with
calmed
it.
my spirit down.
Mentally, you.
And I
just-
submitted
yes.
to the process because I realized there was a bigger purpose here.
Oh my
It wasn't
goodness.
so much about what I was going to look like and what it was. It
Right.
was so much more. I
Right.
realized that I was now on an assignment.
And you were going to
that
complete
the Lord
that
could
assignment.
trust me with.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
What did
Yes.
your children say?
Oh my God.
What did your mom say? What did your What did your friends
You
say?
know, at first I didn't tell the kids because they were pretty young at the time.
Of course.
Preteens.
Okay.
And their lives had already been
Shifted.
shifted in so many ways. We had gone through a lot of major life changes.
Okay.
So I was mindful not to share too much in the beginning.
You didn't want to scare them
No,
either.
but I also didn't want to insult their intelligence. You see, sometimes as
Very
adults,
smart.
as adults, sometimes we think that by refraining from sharing the truth, we're protecting our children. When sometimes we're really insulting their intelligence
Right.
because
Absolutely.
they are sensitive
They're very
enough
smart.
to realize that something isn't
Yeah.
right.
Right. Mom's
And
just telling me
someone is not
something.
being honest. in
Exactly.
it. And so when I realized they were going to come visit me on the oncology ward,
Uh-huh.
and those two were going to probably Google what
Of course.
oncology was,
Uh-oh.
I said, no, it's time to have the
have
conversation.
Okay,
to.
good.
And so I shared with them small doses, but age appropriate.
Okay.
And once they could see and hear the hope in my voice, I think they grabbed onto that.
Okay.
That this is going to
It's
be a
gonna be
fight,
okay.
but we're going to be okay. Thankfully, my parents were with me. My
Okay.
sister was with me when I was diagnosed. She was
Okay.
actually in the room with me when I was
Good.
diagnosed. And she had a hard time with it because
Yeah.
she's like, no,
Of course.
God, no.
I'm not ready yet.
No, we're not doing this.
No.
Daddy already took the hit for this family.
That's right.
We're not doing this again.
Again.
But once we realized that this was not a myth, the family rallied around me.
Okay.
That's nice.
And we're like, we're going to do this.
Yeah, we're going to fight this
We're going to do
together.
this together. Yeah,
So
and
you
it was
had
a fight.
You stayed in the hospital for a while?
Listen, I felt like I lived at Florida Hospital.
Really?
Because it was aggressive.
Okay.
Yes.
But they caught it at the time where we immediately got a treatment plan.
Okay.
Chemotherapy,
Okay.
radiation, but the important one was a bone marrow transplant.
Mm.
I was told from the very beginning I would have to have a bone marrow transplant
For the
in order,
leukemia.
exactly, to cure the disease and to extend my life.
Okay.
Okay, and so because of that, I was in the hospital for extended periods of time.
Okay.
In 2017, I mean, I couldn't work. I had to stop working.
Of course.
You know, the night I taught my university students, the following night I was diagnosed. So immediately, 2 incomes were impacted.
Oh.
Right.
So I couldn't work. I couldn't
my
work.
goodness.
Whenever I had chemo, I didn't have outpatient chemo. I had
Inpatient.
hospital,
Okay.
and that meant
Okay.
being in the hospital for days at a time.
Okay.
You know, and so that happened for several months. You know, the first part of 2017,
wow.
I was in and out of the hospital. Every area of my life was impacted.
Everything.
Thank God for your
Every
family.
area was impacted.
Thank God for your family because then the girls would have been
Listen,
by
Muriel,
themselves.
family, but also other people who I called God-approved
Friends.
people who rallied around us.
Yes.
Church
Prayed.
family. People who traveled from Jamaica to come
Oh,
and stay with me
wow.
and take care
To
of
help
me.
you.
When I tell you people showed up for me in
Showed
ways
up and
that
showed out.
I needed to realize I was loved.
Yes.
Because I started
That's good.
2017, I wasn't so sure that I
Right.
was really loved.
Right.
And the Lord had to use that situation to
show
confirm
you.
that you are indeed loved and loved well.
That's right.
I had international support.
Oh,
Wow.
Look at
When
you.
I tell you people showed up for me in ways, I'm like, I have to write about this.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Oh, yes,
Because
definitely.
many times people hear about a cancer diagnosis and immediately go to the worst.
That's it.
That was not my
Not for you.
experience. And I'm humbled by that.
Yes. But even though you were calm, because you had spoken with your father,
Yes.
you were calm.
Yes.
What went on through your mind? I mean, I know you were calm, and it's easy to say that you were calm, but what was going on in Shannon's head? Like, my children.
Listen, honestly, I was more afraid for them
Exactly.
than for myself. I was more afraid of what the journey would look like and how it would impact my children and my loved ones more than I was concerned for myself. Because the truth is, if the cancer was going to take me home that year, I was ready to go.
You were ready.
Right.
I was ready to go.
Okay.
I was ready to go, but I said no. My work isn't finished
No.
yet. For everything I've gone through, everything that God has invested in me, every life experience,
This is not going to take me out.
This is not it.
Right.
This is not it. It's not my time. And I believe that because I had that assurance in my spirit that this sickness was not unto death, at least not immediately,
Okay.
it helped me in the moments where I became terrified.
Yes.
And angry, because let's be honest, I
course.
wasn't calm throughout the whole
No,
thing.
of course not.
I was not singing the praises of
Right.
the Lord the entire time.
Right.
We had some sessions.
You had some words.
We had some words. There were times I'm like, I'm not talking to you.
Yes.
Tim.
I'm mad
not
at you.
talking to you. Tim.
Yes.
You know, I allowed myself to feel all of it.
Yes.
All of it, because a cancer journey is rough.
Yes.
And mine was particularly hard because it was a long journey and it was very involved, and because my income was impacted.
Of course.
On one hand, I was fighting cancer, but I was figuring, how am I going to live?
Right.
You still have bills to pay.
That's right.
You still got,
So what happened
Who
with
helped
that?
you with that?
Listen, thankfully, I qualified for Medicare,
Okay.
and that helped.
Okay.
But there were people who rose to the occasion.
Stepped in.
They started a GoFundMe for me
Okay,
initially.
Good.
But there were people who recognized, wait a minute, Shannan is not working.
She has 2 kids.
She has kids. And there are people who would volunteer to pay bills.
Isn't that something?
There are
God bless
people
them.
who would give a one-time donation or make sure we had groceries. When I tell you the Lord used people to meet needs,
Yes.
it came down to a simple, okay, I'm a girly girl, right? I'm
Yes.
a girly girl.
Yes.
Okay? There were women who would say, just because you're going through cancer doesn't mean you need to look like a hot mess.
Thank
Right.
you.
And would they buy me nice outfits and nice
You were pretty.
accessories?
Yes.
On the days I could be pretty. I could
Yes.
be pretty most of the time,
Yes,
let's be
yes.
honest. If you see my YouTube channel, you'll see I look like a hot mess.
Well, you were
But
going
I
through
tried to put my wig on and put a little makeup on when I
Right.
could still wear makeup.
Yes.
Because at some point I couldn't wear makeup anymore. But there are people who showed up in ways, in tangible ways.
Okay.
And so I'm like, I need to educate people that when someone is diagnosed with cancer, they need more than prayers and best wishes.
Right.
Absolutely.
They need you to
They
show up.
need more than a sympathy card and a one-time prayer.
Okay.
Yes.
It's the tangible support that will help a family dealing with cancer
Right.
that makes the difference.
There you go.
It helps to alleviate the stress.
Yeah, because you're already stressed about
Exactly.
the diagnosis.
Everything.
Everything
So-
that's
And,
going
and
on.
the body is going through a lot. The mind is going through a lot. Once you
lot.
start the chemo treatment, so many things are impacted.
How long was your chemo treatment?
I was treated from I would say February they started until August.
Really?
Once all the cancer cells were eliminated from my body, that was the time to go in and do the bone marrow transplant.
Okay.
We had a short window,
Okay.
a small window of time. And so once that process ended, my sister thankfully was deemed a partial match.
Oh, okay.
And on August 31st, my father's birthday,
Oh,
we had a bone marrow transplant.
on his birthday.
On his birthday. And I now share the same DNA as my sister.
God bless her.
And here I am
Isn't
3
that-
years later, alive,
And telling your
doing
story.
well, telling my story, wrote a
Wrote a
book.
book.
We're going to get to that in a minute.
Let me tell you.
Oh,
Let me
wow.
tell you.
So tell me, what exactly did the chemotherapy feel like?
You know, chemo is one of those dreaded poisons that's necessary. And it's necessary because it goes in and it has a task. It goes and it kills.
Attacks.
While it attacks, it's also killing everything else.
Okay.
And so there are so many different kinds of side effects to chemotherapy. Thankfully, I did not have nausea. Most
Yes,
people have a lot
A
of
lot.
nausea and
Okay,
vomiting.
yes.
I didn't have that,
Okay.
but I was impacted in other ways. My taste, my appetite. Of course, you know, you lose your hair.
Hair,
I
okay.
mean, everywhere you know. So for me, it was more than just losing the hair. It was looking in the mirror and thinking, I look like my dad. My dad had chemo and had no
hair.
eyelashes
Okay.
Yes.
and no eyebrows
Right.
Okay.
and nothing. So it's all the different things that happen. The chemo brain is a real thing because once you are being given those heavy doses of medication,
Right.
focus and concentration
It's
is
gone.
different.
Okay.
It's different. And so for me, it was important to have my mom
Yes.
to be there to get information because I could not advocate for myself.
Right.
Because once the treatment begins, you are impacted in every way.
Right.
You know, for couples, your libido is impacted. You know, all these different things. And so I did this though, and I'm sure you'll appreciate this. Each time they brought the chemotherapy to my room,
Okay.
I would ask the nurse, I said, give the bag to me. Before you hang it up,
Give it to me.
And I'd hold it, and I'd speak to it, and I'd pray over
Yes.
it. And I said, now you
okay.
go in,
Yes.
and you do only what you have been authorized
To do.
and nothing else. You infiltrate no other area. I'm serious, I
Yes.
did.
Good for you.
Because I realized that one, it had a purpose,
Right.
but it did not have permission
That's right.
to
All right
wreck
now.
my entire
All
life.
right.
I love it.
Listen, I
All
took
right.
ownership of that.
You spoke to it.
I did.
I love
I did.
it.
And so I allowed myself to go through all, you know, the bloating and everything that comes with chemotherapy and radiation. It was very humbling.
What about
Yes.
the pain?
Very
What about the pain?
You know, my doctor said something. They said because of your age and your health, you tolerate this very well.
Okay.
And so the pain for me didn't happen so much during the cancer journey. It was after. It was during the transplant recovery process.
Okay.
Okay.
The worst part, the hardest part of my cancer and transplant journey was recovering from transplant because you've taken on somebody else's cells.
Right.
And the original cells recognize the new cells and there's war. And so
Okay.
you exchange cancer for graft versus host disease.
Okay.
And for me, that impacted my skin. So my skin is burnt.
Everything.
My skin is burnt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's impacted my vision. You have different kinds of ways that
So all this is from the
from
transplant.
the transplant.
Okay.
Right. So the hardest part of the journey for me took place after,
Okay.
not during. No, everybody's cancer situation
different?
is different.
Different.
Okay.
Everybody's cancer journey is different. And so while I did not experience some of those side effects or some of those things, other people do.
Yes.
Okay.
You know?
Did it go into your lymph nodes?
Yes. Yes.
It was in your lymph
yes,
nodes as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
In fact, one of my first surgeries was a lymph node biopsy that they took from under here. And it's amazing. After you've gone through the experience, your body bears the scars of all the things
Everything.
you've gone through, all the different surgeries you've
Right.
had to have, and all of that. But boy, the pain.
You can't even explain it.
Honestly, the hardest pain is the emotional pain.
Yes.
Okay.
People don't realize the fight it takes to deal with a cancer diagnosis on a day-to-day basis. It's hard. It's
hard.
very hard.
You know, when I'm listening to you, it's like I'm partially listening, but I'm listening. Sorry to say that. All I could think of is my mom because that's how my mother passed
Right.
with leukemia too.
Leukemia.
She was at
Wow, I did
advanced
not
age.
know
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
So she couldn't get the help that she needed like you did. They didn't think that it would.
Because she was an older woman, and by the time they caught it, it was like, okay, we had to call hospice, and
Oh, wow.
yeah, there was nothing that really could be done.
See, and this is why I'm on this mission.
Yes.
Because I'm like, once I realized the effectiveness of a bone marrow transplant and the number of diseases that can be cured and treated with a bone marrow transplant, I knew I had to share this.
You have
Right.
to.
This is like my mission now.
That's the cure.
It's really one of the missions is to say sickle cell anemia, lymphoma, leukemia. There are actually over 70 different diseases that can be treated with a bone marrow transplant. But people are not aware.
We're not aware.
People don't know,
Yeah.
and so you get the diagnosis, and if you don't know, or you're not told,
Right.
then you are not able to position yourself for that part of the journey after chemotherapy.
I wonder why that's not discussed. Why that is not.
You said it at the
Is it
beginning of
very
the show.
expensive?
Taboo. It's taboo.
Taboo,
One. People are afraid once they hear bone marrow, automatically our mind thinks the worst.
Exactly.
So for me, I'm thinking, oh my God, they're going to drill holes in
Yes.
my back. Nothing of the sort.
Okay.
Things have advanced in such a way that our transplant was literally done with minor surgery, and all that entailed was my sister did a cheek swab.
Right.
Well, She did a blood test, but
Okay.
for people who are interested, it's just a cheek swab to determine
Okay.
if they could
It's a
be a
match.
potential match. If they're between 18 to 44 and they are interested, they can be. If you're over 44, it's not going to work.
Really?
If you want to be a donor.
Okay.
But basically, the process is simple. A cheek swab for the person who's interested.
Okay.
If you are deemed a match and you're contacted, you simply go in and you get tests.
Okay.
You know, to make sure that you're healthy
Right.
enough.
Okay.
They give you injections to boost your body's
Energy.
production of cells.
Yes.
And on the day of the transplant, you have my sister had a line through her neck,
Okay.
a trifusion line
Yes.
that was used to harvest her cells.
Absolutely.
And in the evening, they brought those cells and put them in my line.
Amazing.
So it was no major surgery.
Gosh.
It was done in 1 day.
Yes.
In 2 days, she was out of the hospital, and I had like a 1-year recovery period.
And
But
here you
people are afraid of what they don't know.
Absolutely.
And tune out.
Yes.
And become dismissive
Right.
for fear.
Right. Well, they have to ask questions.
Exactly.
Just like you did.
Exactly. You have to ask questions, but you also have to be willing to be receptive
Correct.
to the possibilities that are now available.
There's so many, right?
So
So
many.
many.
So many.
And so you're on medicine now?
No.
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 Okay.
I'm back to being Shannon.
Oh, wow.
Fierce and fabulous.
That's right.
Proud and
That's right.
exuberant. You know? And I don't know how many years I have to live, but I have seen bone marrow transplant recipients live for 15 and 20 years.
So they never gave a prognosis or anything
no,
that
they
years
they
of.
do say that it can be about 5 years
Okay.
or more, but most live past 5 years. If you're healthy and you're doing well, you know.
How do you feel?
Great.
Good.
You look great, too.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, thank you. It's like,
You're
and
so happy.
But to see what I looked like afterwards, I was down to 107 pounds. The most that changed after the transplant, in addition to me getting my sister's DNA, I had to get all my baby immunization shots again.
Again?
Because I was a baby again. So I had to watch my skin change, my nails, my complexion came back darker.
Really?
I now look like my daughter.
Oh, pretty.
I
You're
look
pretty.
a little different. Just a
Yes.
little different. But for the most part,
You feel good?
That's it.
You change your
I'm good.
diet and.
that changed during the cancer journey because
Okay.
you know I'm a Jamaican and I love spicy food.
Of course.
It took me a
I
while for
understand.
that taste to come back.
Okay. Is it back yet?
Oh
It's
my
back.
God, yes. Oh yes.
Yes.
Oh yes. So I mean, and everybody's situation is different.
Of
So
course.
I'm not. I don't want to minimize the potential and the risks involved.
Right.
Because they did say you have a 50-50 chance.
But
that
you
this
made
could
it.
work or not.
But you
I
made
said
it.
I'm gonna be on the side of the 50 that works.
That's
I
right.
will be.
And
I,
here
I
you
will
are.
be,
Claim
because
that, yes.
I had to because I knew that I had so much more life to live.
Of course.
I just knew that.
Yes. You're so full of energy.
Listen, I have this awareness and this assurance that I carry around like an armor, and I know, I know the Lord has given me life not
Yes.
just to have a job and to pay bills
Right.
and to be
Right.
a mom.
There's more
I
to it.
have to show up in the world every day
That's
and
right.
be my most authentic self
Yes.
and be very intentional
And
about
you
the way
are.
I interact with people.
And you definitely are.
Oh my God, yes.
You definitely are. Then you turn around and you write this book.
Yes.
Oh Lord, let me tell you.
Hold it up.
Hold it.
God's,
Yes.
I call it God's baby.
Yes.
When I got it from
Destiny
the publisher, I
in
held it
disguise.
up and I said, God, your baby's here.
It's born.
It is. You know, when I was going through the journey, I was very candid. I shared a lot on Facebook
Okay.
and I did video blogs.
Good.
Okay, good.
One, because the Lord said I needed to. I was like, God, really? I'm looking like a hot mess. You really want me
Yeah.
to do video blogs now?
Share with
And
other
he said,
people.
people need to see the real, raw stuff.
That's right. That's right.
And understand how to support
Yes.
and things that they don't know. So, and people kept saying, Shannon, you need to write. And I'm like, I'm not writing a thing. I see how you all do offers. You know, you go on Facebook and say, yay, congratulations, and never buy a book.
Not
I
one.
see what y'all do. I said, the only way I will write is if the Lord inspires me to do so.
And you were
And
inspired.
sure enough, early last year, one morning, I woke up about 1 o'clock, just out of my sleep,
Mm-hmm.
and I heard clearly, Shannon, it's time to write.
There you go.
And I got up, and for months, every morning like clockwork, I would wake up and it would just flow. It would just flow. It would just flow.
See there?
And it took several months, and I got it done. And thankfully, during a global pandemic, I was able to publish it.
Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations.
Congratulations.
That takes
How
a
has
lot.
it done? How has the book done?
So far, it's doing well.
Good.
Okay.
For me, honestly, and this is going to probably sound very not naive. I think because I saw the book as an assignment, for me, it wasn't so much about book sales. It was about getting the messages out.
Yeah, you did.
So the book is a call to action.
Okay.
One, how to provide support
Okay.
to people diagnosed with cancer.
Yes.
Okay.
How to surround the family who are also impacted.
Okay.
Because I have a chapter on how it impacts caregivers, how it impacts children,
Okay.
how it impacts couples and their sex lives and all of that.
Very good. You went through it, so you know.
Listen, I put it all in here. But also, I want to raise the awareness about the effectiveness of a bone marrow transplant. And so I am now a Be the Match spokesperson.
Awesome.
Be the Match is the
wow.
organization that coordinates bone marrow transplants worldwide.
Okay.
And so this is one of the main reasons I put this out there.
Okay.
To inform, to instruct, and to inspire.
Wow.
But the educator in me wrote this like a textbook.
That's right.
That's okay.
Because I'm like, this is so much more than Shannon's story. It's so much more than a cancer story. There's a lot of great information that
That's
people would
wonderful.
not normally know.
Right, that's wonderful,
You know?
Shannon, that
And
you
so
put it.
doing it that, and this can go, this is timeless. This is timeless. Because not only did I pull from my own experience, I did quite a bit of research as well.
Yourself,
Very
okay.
good.
Yes.
Very good.
When my oncologist saw it, he signed it, he said, you've got to get this to people.
Yes.
See, come on.
Yes.
And my hope is that I can get it into hospitals.
He needs to put it in his
cancer
office.
centers. Yes, I would like to do that.
He needs it in his
I'm
office.
like,
That's
I
the
need to
start.
get this out to the
Yes.
people whose lives it will really benefit.
That's right.
Yeah.
There's so many
And-
people.
Yes,
So
I
many.
mean, cancer is so prevalent.
Yeah, we'll post it as well.
Cancer is so prevalent.
So tell me, okay, you're an author and everything. You're a survivor.
Yes.
What do you do for fun?
Oh, Lord. I am, in my public life, I am all of this. All the glitter and all the glamour and all of that. In my private life, I'm very subdued. And I love to dive into a good show. I love binge watching.
Yes,
Yes.
me too.
I love binge watching. When I put my do not disturb sign up, it means
Leave
if
me
you're
alone.
calling me, you will probably have to wait. I'm in my show. I light my candle.
Yes.
And I have something nice to drink.
That's right.
But you know, I wind down watching shows. I also enjoy talk shows.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because as a teenager, I was on radio and television shows in Jamaica.
Okay.
And so I just
You love that.
Oh
That's
my
you.
God, that's all me. That's all me. So I enjoy talk shows as well. I wouldn't say I read much. I'm not much of a reader because I used to have to grade research papers all the time. I'm not too big on reading, to be honest with you. But I love music and I
Yes.
love to dance.
Yes.
Listen, and I have no shame. I will dance
Anywhere.
anywhere.
It doesn't matter.
I
That's
don't
me,
care. If I hear my song and I'm in Walmart, I am going to bust
That's
a move.
right. Who cares who's watching?
I don't care.
I know. I don't either.
Yeah.
Oh, my
But I've
goodness.
learned to prioritize self-care.
That's right. That's
And whatever
important.
that looks like in the moment,
There you go.
I go for it.
Very
I go for it, and
important.
I don't give people permission to interrupt that time
That's right.
unless I feel the Holy Spirit say you need to take this call or whatever.
Right.
I really have
for you.
learned how
You
to
follow.
Oh my God!
You follow,
I
you listen.
safeguard my emotional space.
Very
Yes, Yes.
Man.
Yes.
Tell the viewers how they can contact you.
Well, I am on I Choose to Bloom, which is my platform.
Yes.
My
I meant
brand.
to ask you about that.
Yes. As a result of the cancer journey, I launched my website from my life's philosophy, which is bloom where you're planted.
Yes.
Okay. And I Choose to Bloom came about because I realized that during the cancer journey, that's how I got through it. I made a choice
Okay.
each day how I was going to respond and react, even in the difficult times.
Right.
I realized that's what we have to do. When things happen, even the unfavorable things, we have to choose how we're going to respond.
That's right.
How we're going to reply, how we're going to react.
Yes.
And sometimes we don't realize how powerful we really are. That
It's
sometimes,
true.
no, we don't.
Right, yes.
We really don't realize how powerful we are as we navigate the vicissitudes of life. Right?
Yes.
And so my brand, my ministry really is I Choose to Bloom. And so I have a website, ichoosetobloom.com.
Okay.
I'm on Facebook. I'm a big Facebooker, no shame.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with that.
I have a Facebook page, which is also I Choose to Bloom.
Okay.
And on Instagram, it's the Shannan Lewis.
Okay. And I see that you have your blog.
Yes, I'm
on
a big
the-
blogger.
Okay.
I'm a big blogger.
Which is good.
I've been doing blogging for years.
Okay.
And now I have several of them on my website
Very
as well.
good.
And I also have my YouTube channel.
There you
Very
go.
good.
And so
You're busy.
I choose to bloom, or is it under Shannan Lewis?
It's Shannan Lewis. I choose,
to bloom. Okay.
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yes.
very good.
And a lot of my videos from the cancer journey are on my YouTube channel
Okay.
because cancer patients now go and watch those
Yeah,
and
they need to
get
see it.
hope and feel inspired and encouraged.
That's right. They can do it too. They can make it.
Definitely. And I don't want it to sound as though everybody's going to have the same
They
experience I
won't.
did.
Yes.
Right. No.
But I want people to know that even if this is going to take you out, fight with everything
Fight.
you have.
That's right.
Fight.
Maximize your good days.
Yes.
You know, bask in great experiences. Surround yourself with strong, supportive, solid, sincere people.
Yes.
Yes.
And share your
Listen,
story.
Exactly.
Share.
Exactly.
Very
Definitely.
good.
Because some people I know they hide themselves. You know, they've been diagnosed, and then all of a sudden you don't hear, you don't see them or anything.
And that's one of the reasons I wrote about it. I said, you know what, if you are, I respect people's
Yes,
decision
of
to
course.
be private
Right.
and secretive, I understand that. But I learned that if you do that, then people don't know how to support you and
Correct.
show up for you.
There
Correct.
you go.
God isn't as glorified as he could be, because I realized that if I was quiet about my journey, it would have gone so different.
And you wouldn't have gotten the assistance,
that
the
I
help
needed, exactly.
that you needed.
And so I chose not to be quiet about it. I chose to share, and that really helped.
Sharing is caring.
Definitely.
Thank you for your transparency.
Thank you so much for joining us here today. We hope that this is not the last time.
I
That's
hope
right.
not.
Thank you.
Thank you as well.
You're welcome.
We thank you, the viewers, for your support and for joining us tonight. Please tune in next Tuesday at 6 p.m. for another special guest right here from our community sharing their testimony. In closing, leukemia and lymphoma can cause weakness, fatigue, bruising, infections that are recurring, weight loss, night sweats, swollen lymph nodes or organs, and more. For more information regarding leukemia and lymphoma, contact Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Shannan was given a second chance at life, and with her philosophy, Bloom Where You Are Planted, she seeks to encourage, educate, and empower lives through her platforms and events. We are real sisters, sharing real stories within our community. We thank you for tuning in to talk about it, the Candid Conversation Show.
Let's have a candid conversation.